Before we go into the essence teaching of first year curriculum, we want to provide you learning skill, which is a powerful, essential, effective skill set to prepare you for the coming lectures. The first year material covers a lot of basic, fundamental, and very critical information, and it can be quite challenging to understand the concept, the teaching. Therefore, learning skill is introduced early in the years, in the first year program. But what prevents us from learning? Let's look at our first obstacle. The picture speaks 1,000 words. I do not want to hear. I do not want to listen. When you don't want to listen, the learning is stopped. Now we all have 2 ears and 1 mouth. But most of us here do not use them proportionally. We like to speak more than we like to listen. Well, we have 2 ears for a reason. However, what makes us to cover our ears? It is the false habits that prevent us from learning. For example, we only select the same channel that you want to listen to every time we turn on the radio in the car. For example, if you just want to listen to the classical music, just want to select the channel that play classical music only. And we refuse to listen to any other music. Therefore, we create and form a habit of just listening to what we want to hear. We create and form a false habit. Now you know, our brain is learned by neuroplasticity, which is a habit forming. So it's very hard to break our old habits because our brain gets used to the old habit. If we can remove our hand from our ears so we can listen, and we can remove our old habits, then you get speed learning. Well, let's talk about definition of term. Definition is to define a term, a word, or to define what you're going to talk about. Definition is very important to start a good communication. And it's important to enhance the learning skill. So why definition is so important? Now, let's say there's a question, which is, why do you want to learn Buddhism? For this question, we have various answers, motivations, and questions. And why we have different answers for just one question? Well, because the answers, it depends on the definition of Buddhism. AWE definitions of Buddhism is, it's a path to enlightenment. So, why do you want to learn the way to enlightenment? And what is enlightenment? There's another definition here. Well, in AWE, we define Buddhism and enlightenment as, Buddhism is actually an evolving human consciousness, including religion, metaphysics, science, and philosophy. This is the meaning of life. Then, enlightenment is embracing this knowledge in totality and living one life wisely to its highest value. This is the value of life. Once the term is defined, then we can have a clear communications. But throughout the first year course, we highly recommend students to pay very close attention to the definitions. And this is a few very common words that you will see throughout the whole years. And for example, Buddha, Nirvana, Bodhisattva, Zen, metaphysics, Tathagata. Some people define Buddha as God, and they want to worship Buddha, and they think Buddha have powers, magic. However, in AWE, we define Buddha as an awakened one. Therefore, it's important to define the word Buddha, so both can talk about the same thing. Now we go to the second set. It's a communication skill set. In communication skill set, we have 4 items. First, active listening. Second, appreciation. Third, expression. Fourth, established collective consciousness. And we highlight the first letter in red for you to remember. It's AA, EE, and CC. Let's talk about the active listening. Now you can see the dog ears. It's raised up and his eye looking straight at the speaker. This tells us that he's ready to listen. And this is active listening. How do we get active listening? Now, if we do not criticize the speaker, we just listen whether or not the speaker is right or wrong. Also, do not try to fit information into existing silo. For everybody here have your own learning experience. You have your own certain learning habit or pattern. It's a silo. So let's say there's a new information come in and it doesn't fit the old learning silo. Therefore, you will reject that new idea and you refuse to listen. When you stop listening, cannot learn. And active listening is to accept other opinions. We have to respect other opinions instead of creating the internal conflict in our head. We accept other ideas, information. We can agree to disagree. And the last point, do not interrupt. Well, if you keep interrupting the speaker, you will not get the whole message. And the information that you receive is fragmented. Now, if we apply the active listening, then you will overcome the ego. And what's the ego? The ego is just I, me. I would like to give you an example of what a really active listening is.
Last year, I had a talk with my brothers. My other brothers came to Toronto and visit us, and usually when we talk about something, somehow my brother and I don't see eye to eye, and usually we have a lot of discussion. Like we try to prove ourselves, our point. Just happened we talk about something, and I can see it. We're going to have a heated discussion again. And I said, oh my God, again, I don't know, I will be very upset, and he's going to upset. And I can see that he raised his voice already. He tried to prove his point. And then I would stop for 2 seconds, and I said, last week I learned about active listening and appreciation. So, you know what? I never had a chance to put it to work. And I said, why don't I just try? I don't think it works, but So I start to stop talking. I sit down in front of him, looking in his eye, and I listen to him. I really listened to him. I said, okay, I have to practice what I learned. I stopped interrupting him. I stopped talking to him. I just listened, and I nod my head, okay, yeah. And then I look at him though. I'm not just pretend that I'm listening. So I really looking at him, and he's so impressed. And his voice starts to go lower and lower. And he just talks like normal, no hassle. And then when he soften himself, and then suddenly I feel same thing. I don't feel so agitate anymore. I'm calmed down as well. And then we finish talking in peace for the first time ever. For 2 seconds, I almost jumped out of my chair of shocking. That simple thing, to me, is active listening. Everybody listening. Everybody do appreciation. Yeah, I think, nothing so magical about this. It's not because I have a peaceful talk with him. Suddenly I realized something, that I just overcome my ego. I can't believe it. It's not easy to control your ego, and I know that if you know Buddhism a little bit, you know your ego. It's just like part of you. I feel the joy inside. I don't know how to describe it. I feel so joyful. I'm so thankful that I just happened to remember my lecture and I applied it. And it worked like magic.
Now let's talk about appreciation. Appreciation will help us to discover obstinacy in oneself. You will see your stubbornness, your inflexibility, and your arrogant. I am always right. Other is wrong. Appreciations will help us to connect with the speaker. And how do we connect with the speaker? By our body language. When we look at others, we are connected. When you nod your head, you tell me that you are agreeing with what I'm saying. That you smile at me, it tells me that you appreciate my lecture. There is a psychological study show that body language is more than 65% of our verbal communication. Therefore, instead of coming to the class, you just listen to the lecture, to the website, or to the YouTube. You already lost 65% of the communication. My appreciation is to come to every single class. And by coming to the class, I receive more information and show my appreciation that I really enjoy the class. I enjoy the lecture. And I have a connection with everybody. And I have a good connection with my teachers. I receive better information. Appreciation will help us to improve the elements and factors that mold our characters. When you appreciate someone, you lower yourself, you open your heart, you become more kind, more polite, and more open. And this makes you more positive person. That's how you improve your characters. For example, when you go to a seminar, it doesn't matter that you benefit from the lecture. What's important is that you appreciate the speaker, the information given, the lecture, the place, and the people who come to that lecture that spend a couple hours there with you. By appreciate this, you will improve your characters. You become more kind, more loving, more friendly person. And again, if you apply the appreciation skill, you will overcome your ego.
Okay, you can see the pictures. I'm sure it's for me last year when Dr. Lo asked me to do it. I think he's just kidding. I didn't even know it's part of the curriculum. For second year, you have to deliver the lectures. So, and I'm sure, the public speaking, when you can express yourself, you overcome the fear of public speaking. I'm sure a lot of us and a lot of people out there just doesn't like public speaking because your ego wants to protect your image. They want to save your face. Your ego doesn't want you to make a fool of yourself up there. You don't do a good job. You're going to embarrass yourself in front of everybody. So it's your ego stopping you from express yourself in front of everybody. Last year, I had to step out of my comfort zone, and I tried my best to deliver the lectures. And especially, you can see my language is my obstacle. I have to try to overcome that as well. So it's very difficult for me to apply these expressions, but I have to in order for me to complete my second years. Anyway, I learn a lot from when I talk. Okay, beside that, by expression, you contribute by giving yourself. So just like I just told you, last year I'm just like you, I'm just sitting here, I'm just, enjoy the lectures given by Dr. Chen and Dr. Lo. I really enjoy it. And this year, my contribution is just, again, I just try to deliver whatever I learned from last year. Contribution, sometimes, when we have a break, or at the end of the class, and if everybody sit together and we talk, we share our feelings, share our body language, giving our input, our feedback from the lectures. By giving ourselves, it doesn't matter if the feedback is bad or good, right or wrong, but the connectivity is very important. So we can learn from each other. We can exchange our information. We can exchange our energy by giving our input and then, be together as a group. So it's very important to contribute and express yourself. Okay, we learn to speak better from listening to others. It's a consideration. That as a good speaker, you should learn or would always try to find a way to enhance our learning expressive skill so you can deliver good and effective lectures. And then the most important thing is I want to make sure the message come across, and it's very important. By doing that, again, you try to listen other people input. You have to aware people need, feeling, and audience body language, so you can improve your expressive skill. Okay, like I said, if you apply this expressive skill, you will overcome your ego. And again, ego is the one who stops you from express yourself.
Last item in communication skill set is establish collective consciousness. When you apply this skill, you will absorb the good points from others. Everybody have good points for us to learn. You can learn a good thing from this person and another good thing from other person, and this skill will help us to minimize one's obstinacy and our stubbornness. And the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And if we apply this skill, the egocentric self can be transformed by an open mind and break out of the old thinking box. Now look at the picture below. These are all of the car parts. If you have the engine, and engine is a very important part of the car. You have the chairs, and you have the doors, even the car frame. Now, if you only have those parts, the car is still not functioning, and you still cannot go anywhere with this car. Even those parts that you have are very important parts. But if you put all of this part together, then the car can run, and you can go somewhere. However, even if you miss a few screws here and there, just the car can run for a little bit, it will stop running, and the car will falling apart. So therefore, The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I would like to give you another example. Everybody knows that Dr. Low is the founder of AWE. He's a very important person in AWE. However, if every Saturday he's sitting here alone, none of us here with him, then nobody will benefit his teaching, and nobody learn anything if Dr. Low is here alone. However, if all of us come together, then we will learn something from Dr. Low. And AWE, it can be a great benefit to all of us. That is the communication skill set. I would like to review the learning skill. So in learning skill, first we have definition. And definition is to have a clear communication. Once you have a clear communication, then you can go to communication skill set. And if you apply the active listening, the appreciation, the expressions, the established collective consciousness, then you will overcome the ego. The last item in learning skill. And the mindset is to break through the thinking boxes. So what is the mindset? The mindset is the key to open our minds, and it is an introduction to metaphysics. And what is metaphysics? Metaphysics is beyond the form. It has no form. However, the mindset is a master key to open our mind, to expand our thinking mode. The mindset gives us a master key to open our mind, to open our heart, expand our thinking mode, so we can break through the thinking boxes